Welcome to another episode of the Golden Moment podcast. My name's Mijo Biscan. This episode is called Daily Habits and Practices. So in the last episode, I shared the importance of asking for help, keeping the lone wolf attitude in check, and working with mentors. So I referenced my mentor's insistence on daily habits and practices to build the dream. So we're all a bundle of habits. Habits are simply a shortcut for the mind. So once we do the same thing enough times, our mind assumes that this is a behavior it can automate because it seems important if we're doing it all the time. So unfortunately, we're not always doing things that are helpful or supportive of what we really want in the future. And those habits get embedded anyway. So I know I had my own fair share, and I still do have my own fair share of bad habits that were not helping me as a songwriter. So I used to binge drink on weekends. I'd be up really late. I'd be knackered for days. Sometimes I would work through the night during the week, and then I'd go to work during the day, and I'd just be really tired. And then in the evenings, I just would have no energy or motivation. I would get distracted on, the YouTube train for hours and hours during the day when I should have been writing songs. I was eating lots of processed junk food that made me feel terrible. And this list goes on. And I'm sure you have your own list running through your own mind of these habits that aren't very helpful. So they are all habits of action that I needed to change. But more importantly, it was the habit of thoughts that I needed to change. If I changed the thoughts, my habit pattern of thinking, that would change the destructive actions I was putting out into the world. So I went on quite a deep journey of discovery to really uncover these destructive thought patterns, find out where they came from, what was useful, what was not useful, and what thought patterns I wanted to install in my brain that would help me achieve the things I ultimately wanted. So as simple and as common as this might sound, our mind does have a program running that motivates what we do and what we don't do in a day. This is a simple way that I think about it. It's kind of like a software program, and if the program is buggy and it's only been programmed for certain things that give us bad outcomes, and if we don't do anything about it, then it just remains buggy and it produces the same results. And it's very difficult to get a different result with a piece of software if that's what it's programmed to do. So there are probably ultimately there are these programs that keep us kind of unhappy and sort of stuck. And so I imagine there would have to be better programs that would get me better results. So I spent some time thinking about what I ultimately wanted, and then I reverse engineered the program that I'd need to help me get to what I wanted to get. So it was a bit of a shift of focus to looking after myself a lot more. That was a big part of the program shift, was let's institute habits where I look after myself and I have better energy through the day. It's such a simple idea, but it took me a while to get there. Simple things like having an evening routine that helped me switch off from work, relax, review my day, connect with things that I was grateful for, and then get into bed relatively early and read a book and put my body's batteries on recharge overnight. That was such a simple idea, but it was very difficult to do that. When I worked with one of my first mentors, one of my curfews was to be in bed by 10 p.m. That to me sounded completely insane. And so it took me a couple of weeks of really changing my habits, my evening routine habits, to be in bed by 10 p.m. and reading a book. But it was one of the best things I ever did. So once I had that sort of happening, then I focused on setting up my morning routine to be focused on fueling me for the day to get on the right track early. So I'd get up, I'd drink lots of water, I'd go for a walk, I'd do some exercise, I'd come home, I'd stretch, I'd go over some things to tap into my own motivation for the day, what's going to excite me for the day. I would journal, I would check in with my goals, I would set out my day, email my mentor, arrange the time for my singing and songwriting practice to happen. And that can sound like a lot, but each of those things takes a minute or two or a couple of minutes to do. But when they accumulate, when they're done in this sequence, they put me in this state where I feel energized, I feel on track, I feel connected to my purpose of what I'm doing. And that allows me to be really productive, which then at the end of the day helps me really switch off, knowing I had a really focused, positive, creative day. So although these are small habits, these completely changed my life. So I had more energy, I was more productive, I got distracted far less when I was on track. I made progress on important creative projects and made me feel like I was winning at my own life. So the simple way of thinking was the key to all of this, was thinking about the long game. This is essentially how I decided on what habits I needed to implement. So the things that I really wanted at a deeper level, they seem to take time, and they take the moment to moment choosing of something that'll be good for me long term versus the thing that I just want to do right now. So it's a very deep human dilemma. It's about choosing, am I going to eat this donut that's in front of me right now that I would just love to eat? Or am I going to do something like go for a walk or do some stretching or some exercise, which is going to benefit me in the future? Doesn't really feel like it's benefiting me in the present, but it might in the future. That choice for humans is a really tough one. And most people, they'll just eat the donut because they're gonna get the impact straight away. So in the next episode, I'll share more about how I go about choosing the things that I want in my future rather than just smashing that tray of donuts. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There's a transcription of this episode below if you want to read through it or you want to share it. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up or a like. Give it your best rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Share it with a friend, post it on social media with an insight of your own, and please leave a comment below this video. So any and all of those things really help the podcast reach more music lovers, so thank you. If you'd like to hear some of my music, you can get free downloads of 5 songs by heading to mijobiscan.com/free music. You can also get a limited edition, personalized, signed CD of my latest album, Golden Moment, which also comes with a digital download that you get immediately. And you can get that at mijobiscan.com/GMCD. Thanks for listening, stay golden, see you in the next episode, and bye for now.